Yay. So it is still working on the restream, but it says it's working. So I believe we are live.
We are
Yes.
live. Yay.
It's so exciting. This was, I think, take 2 or 3. And I am so thrilled. You know that sometimes in life, we come up with roadblocks. And some people say, oh, it means it's not supposed to do it. For me, there are times that that's absolutely true. But there are times when it's like these roadblocks lead to big breakthroughs. And so you being here today, Toni, I love, those of you that don't know Toni Lontis, we're here today. I want to introduce you to this powerhouse woman who is on a mission globally to help entrepreneurs. So a little bit about Toni Lontis, international TV and radio host, best-selling co-author, author, speaker, and visionary. She quietly entered the entrepreneur world in 2019, post-production of her memoir, Resilience. Thank you, Toni, so much for being here. You are coming back to our Media Magic event. I know that I invited you last year. We got introduced and I invited you to be on the media panel. And I've asked you to come back again this year because you are, wow, you just shared some tips with me on the break where I'm like, this is so exciting. So tell me what got, those of you that are just hearing or watching for the first time in 2019, like what got you into this vision of what you're doing right now with Everyday Women Network?
Okay. Firstly, Shannon, thank you for the privilege of being able to talk to you. And just for the audience, Shannon is one of those beautiful human beings that just make my heart skip a beat every time I get to spend time with her. And she's a busy business powerhouse in her own right. So it is a privilege for me to share time with Shannon, and anytime she wants me to do something with her, I create that space in my schedule to do that because of the beautiful human that Shannon is. Now, back to the beginning, which seems like a lifetime ago, Shannon, that actually seems like the learning, growth, healing, and understanding personally, professionally, and business-wise since the publication of the book. Just in those moments of you introducing that, it's really mind-blowing. In behind that is, of course, a lot of hard work, but I had come through a period in my life of loads of trauma and dysfunction and depression and anxiety. And as I came out and had been on my own self-discovery and healing journey to that point, as I came out the other side, people kept saying, you need to write about your story. You need to talk about what you've been through and how you got to the other side. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm not sure how to write a book. And you go along that book writing journey and you learn about all the things it takes to write a book and how much it takes out of you physically, emotionally, and financially. So I did that, published the book in January 2019. And then the next thing I wanted to do were 2 things, because in the background of that, I'd learned a little bit about marketing and that you have to market yourself and get, media interviews and be present and show up, which was very hard for me back then because I am an introvert by nature. My space is alone time. However, I get excited and curious about people. So there's an extroverted part, and a friend of mine called me an omnivert. So I have both sides to me, the side that needs to be quiet and settled, and the other side that gets excited and invested in other people. And so what that meant was that I wanted to get this story to many people. I decided to produce the audio version, and I was going to get an actress to do that because I was petrified. But the producer kept coming back and saying, no, you need to do this yourself. And she finally convinced me and said, I'll hold your hand and help you walk through that process, which she did. And it was terrifying, cathartic, powerful, fearful, and exhausting. But at the end of that, I felt that I'd accomplished even more than I had in just writing the book, because she sat me down and she said, Toni, there's something about your presence, your story, and your voice. You should be in media. And I'm like, hell no, that's never going to happen. But it's in those moments when you start to go, that when a seed of something that someone says to you starts to take root in your mind and you think about it a little bit more. So my version of that was, I need to get out onto social media and increase my social media presence. And that's what that meant to me. And I'm like, fair enough. And that's what I did. And that led to connections across the world, and in particular, one in the United States. And I asked him a question about podcasting, and he said, why would you podcast when you can live stream radio? And so that's where I started, in live streaming radio, which then converted to a podcast. And I went down that route and thought, after a little while, thought, oh gosh, this is good fun. Lots of people need to know that they can create their own media, that they don't need to be reliant on mainstream. Whilst mainstream is helpful and wonderful and great and a great space, you have the capacity to create your own. And that started that whole journey back then. And the vision was to provide a platform for women to raise their voices and the perceptions around women and women's issues across the globe. It was that simple. And of course, now it's grown into this whole big thing and this whole much bigger vision. But you know that that's the story, Shannon. You start simple and small, and then something grabs hold of your inner being and takes you on this journey. And I have to say that the journey of being an entrepreneur is a powerful one. And it's not so much about the journey in business, but the person you become to be that entrepreneur that delivers that bigger vision with those goals that you have in mind. And so the people, that 3-year difference in Toni back then and Toni now is monumental. I'm not the same person that I was back then, and that's a good thing, Shannon.
What this is reminding me of is being on this journey with you, all of the resilience that you've had, and how you show up, and that you don't only, sorry, let me focus on the resilience first. I know that you're in Australia. Yeah. And you have had been dealt some cards that have been little rough, and that you continue holding your vision, holding your passion, holding your mission. I mean, these aren't like little bumps of like these are things that,
and that's the thing, Shannon. I thought I'd done all the big bad stuff. I thought I'd had all the bumps, but it doesn't. It just keeps. The difference is the knowing and understanding, okay, just breathe. I can get through this. I've done big things. I've got this. But conversely, allow yourself the time and space. And yes, 2022 was pretty icky. Pretty icky.
And you're showing up with a smile. And what I was going to say is, you also work with men, because I know that you've become one of my power partners, where I love supporting and sending people that want media, that want to shortcut. I mean, one of the things you talked about is, you had somebody that shared with you, yes, why do that when you can do this? And you've got YouTube, you've got Ustream all over the world, and somebody may be watching this going, well, I can do this too, which is what we want. Yes. However, and to work with somebody like you that can show you all the tips, the tricks, the strategies. I was just sharing with her before we got on this interview, like, I've spent, I think, 8 or 10 years on YouTube, and I have less than 200 subscribers.
That's what I said, 251.
And you have thousands, and we were just talking about, and so if you can work with somebody, even if you've got your own, right, even if you're already in there and you're not getting the results you want, to work with somebody who is in media, who does have the experience, who does, I feel like you've cracked a lot of codes, and you're just light years ahead of where a lot of people might be getting started. Well, it's evident in what you're producing.
But the thing is, Shannon, everyone has to start somewhere. Yes. You don't grow to. So we've just hit 34,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I started with 251. So
how long ago?
2019.
So look at this. So if you could work with somebody that could help you get, that's like, I'm like, yay, Toni. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's really powerful.
But Shannon, it's not about just the tips and tricks. It's about consistency and showing up, even when you feel not so great, even when life is bad. It's about, okay, I have to do this, this, and this on a weekly basis. I have to show up. I have to do da 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 da. It's about that consistency and that resilience in showing up. So, there's many times that I've been really upset before I get onto the interview, but with someone that I'm going to talk to. But the moment that I get behind that, because it was so difficult for me in the beginning, because I was physically sick before I got behind a microphone in the very beginning, I was so petrified, but I kept doing it. So now I know, and I can tell my brain, no, you've got this. You know what to do. You know how to do it. You're pretty good at troubleshooting. Off you go. So even in moments now, when I get a little tingy before going live on air, I know, and I've taught my brain to know, no, you've done enough of this. You know what you're doing. It's going to be okay. And I might get to the other side of the universe and break down and cry again because of the things that are going on external to me. Yeah. But do you see there's a correlation between business growth and personal growth and mindset, which you cannot ignore? Yeah. Yeah. And that consistency brings results. It's the same with LinkedIn. I started off with 136, and again, it's close to 32,000. So, and all across all of those social media platforms, it's that consistency. So if you're talking about LinkedIn, back in the day when they used to let you send invitations, I would read about people and I would send them a personal note. I would do 100 in the morning and 100 at night. And I did that religiously for at least 18 months until they changed their algorithms and things change and we do things differently. So, but do you know what I mean? It's about consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. And doing what it is that you do strategically with a purpose and that.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So I know anything else about that before I share?
No, you go, Shannon. That's
okay.
Just gonna have a sip of my coffee.
I know that last year you were you had rave reviews at our Media Magic Boot Camp. We're getting ready to have it on January 19th and 20th, our 8th Media Magic Boot Camp. First off, your birthday. We were raving about your birthday because that was really cool that you were up early from Australia to join us. But the big part was that you were on our media panel, and we asked you to come back again because you were sharing it's one thing for me to share, hey, this is what you do to connect with the media, but really you get pitched multiple times a week, a day, right? To be able to share what is there.
People need to understand that, pardon me, media is about perspectives. Now, part of what Shannon and her team do is about traditional media. So I like to talk about traditional and non-traditional because the game posts are changing. So traditional media is newspapers, magazine, cable TV, live TV, CBS, NBN, that stuff. Non-traditional media and a growth industry and a place where you can leverage your content in a way that is a lot more fulfilling is in non-traditional media. And that's the space that I work in. So when we talk about non-traditional media, you can probably lump social media, but what I'm talking about is live streaming, OTT or over-the-top platforms. So OTT is simply a platform like Netflix. And so last year, we launched Everyday Women's Network, which is a platform like Netflix. And the plan is to duplicate that into the Everyday Network at some stage this year when I have a moment to breathe. But the reason I did that is because I fundamentally have a belief that female perspectives and women in media are not given the same airtime as men, and I want to change that dynamic. Until we're represented 50-50 across the media landscape, things don't change because perspectives aren't given to people. So I work in that non-traditional area, and my network, which is like Netflix for women, promotes unique female or men working with women or men supporting women to do what they do. So it's not, even though it's Everyday Women's Network, it's about raising the voices of women. And I believe that there are so many individual and beautiful women out there that are producing content, but not getting across a number of platforms. So in 2023, we're also launching a little program called TV for your podcast. So loads and loads of people are podcasting, and they have their podcast on all the wonderful podcast platforms. But did you know that if you're producing video podcasts, why not put them on a TV network and promote them that way? So it's about those touch points, Shannon, across social media, across blogs and newsletters and emails, traditional media and non-traditional media. Because Shannon, you know that for people to take notice of you, they have to see bites of you and your business multiple times. Now, you did tell me last year what that was, and I thought it was like 17 or 18, but it's probably more than that. That people need to see a glimpse of you and your business before they'll even take notice. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love, so you've got this. So people are pitching you constantly, I imagine. Sorry, I just got so enthralled by the TV, and what I was having a conversation earlier today where we were talking about a lot of startups are focused on social media and they think that's a place. It was actually Connie who's dealing with the sales, our sales mentor, that changing the sales game, and sharing how they're really focused on the social media piece, and sometimes that is out of sequence of what is the revenue generating piece. And if you're doing these things, it's great to have a coach, great to have somebody guide you so that it is productive.
Absolutely, Shannon. Again, one of the key things that I did was realize that I didn't know what I didn't know. So I have had coaches and mentors. There is no way I can know everything. And so I am constantly curious and learning. And I think that's been a huge helpful part. I always listen to almost what everyone says, but then I'll take the components that are applicable to me or the learnings that I need to do within my own life and business and take them, because not everything that everyone says is going to specifically resonate with you. It's about learning what works for you and what doesn't. So I'm not one of those high-powered salespeople that have beautiful pitches. I'm actually a storyteller. So I had to recognize that my sales technique is in storytelling versus another way that someone else might tell you. And it's the same with media and with non-traditional media, like the OTT platform we have. You have the option to do things your way. So in traditional media, you might get 5 minutes on NBN or NBC or one of those big broadcasts, 5 minutes. Whereas on non-traditional media, you can create series of shows about you, your business, your mission, whatever it is, your book. I've done series of shows on books, the writing process, etc. With what we do, you have more scope, capacity, imagination, creative power because it's your stuff. Whereas in traditional media land, you will get great coverage, and that's wonderful to combine both, but you'll get 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? There's a complete shift in what that looks like. And if you're after creation of shows the way, or interviews the way that you want to do them, then non-traditional media is definitely a much better platform for you.
And sometimes you're restricted. I know even with the PR syndication, there's just certain things that we cannot do. The media bids it. It could be a great supplement that's changing lives, but they are like, nope, we can't do it. But
we can't do that.
Own platform, you have, control to navigate a lot of that.
Absolutely. And I think that giving people the power to say what they want to say within reason, within respect to other humans, of course, is a unique way to capture a broader audience. Yeah. And with streaming and what we do, we have the capacity to stream live. You have the capacity to program stream, i.e., Tony's on at 6 a.m., Shannon's on at 7 a.m., blah, 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 blah. So like a linear channel, but also pay-per-view and options of, you might, on our network in particular, you might have a series of shows. They're free for the subscribers, but you might have a workshop and you want to talk about that workshop, and that workshop is $195. And the network then drives people to your paid workshop, etc. So a little bit of a different slant on traditional media and advertising. That's where we're going.
That's beautiful. Well, the media panel was set up so that people can meet. We have 4 individuals on the panel. I'm super excited you're there. This is a chance where they're going to share what works, what doesn't work, what's going to end up in the trash, what's going to get results. You also get to attend Media Magic and ask questions yourself from the experts.
Which is great.
I know.
I have to say.
Then they get your contact information. They hear what kind of stories and how to pitch to you. So just so that if somebody wanted to connect with you before then, you help people if they either want to get on a show, start a show, or even
do a series of shows.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing is, Shannon, which is probably a little bit about our scope, I'm starting to get approached by independent documentary makers and filmmakers who want another space for their content to be aired. So it's really difficult out there for independent filmmakers, documentary makers, and series makers to get their stuff on mainstream TV, but they want to get their content out to the world. Well, this is an alternative. It's kind of, and I think it will be the way, the way of the future, where you own your content. So it never passes to me. It stays with yours. We just distribute it. Yeah. And we just provide a platform where others can view, see, and understand what you do. So I'm pretty excited about 2023. I've already got a meeting with a Western Australian independent filmmaker who asked, can I get my films and short stories on your network? And I'm like, yeah, let's chat. Let's talk about what that looks like. And that goes for anyone else who is producing video content on a regular basis. Let's chat. And the best way to do that is to any of the websites, everydaywomensnetwork.tv will get you a contact form, or info at Toni Lontis, info at ToniLontis.com. Really simple. Send me an email. Say, hey, Toni, heard this. How does that work? What does that look like? We love chatting. I'm excitedly talking to someone else who's going to help with part of that process in 2023. So that's also exciting as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Toni. Well, I know if you go to MediaMagicBootcamp.com, you can connect with the agenda, everything that's going on there. Did I hear that you have still a couple of tickets that you're looking for special participants that could be used to upgrade or stuff like that? So could they email you or DM you based upon?
Absolutely. If you're on our newsletter list, and a number of people are on our newsletter, people are going, how do I get that golden ticket? They're they're golden tickets. Well, they're VIP tickets. So there's a couple of tickets left. If you email and ask me, you'll get to go to Shannon's Media Magic Bootcamp, which is run over 2 days, has huge amounts of amazing experts in all things media. And you get the opportunity to upgrade to VIP. And Shannon, can you tell everyone what that upgrade entitles them to?
And I just want to say our focus is in 48 hours or less to help you develop your press kit. This is not just a lecture and learn. Like, this is an active and a
deep dive.
Yeah. And so the minute you sign up, you get the 13-step Power Bio system with audio trainings and the questions. And so the VIP, why this is so powerful, or even the elite, The VIP,
Yes.
you get to have lunch with mentors of your choice. Now, this is a
Oh
virtual
God, it's
event.
so much fun. That was the
I know,
funnest
it's
part.
so great.
Sorry, Shannon.
We take like a 5-10 minute break. The general admission gets to go have lunch on their own, but you have hand selected who you want to eat with. So if you want to eat with Toni, you get to have lunch with her. And this is a time where she
Ask me
and
whatever
everybody
you
at your
want.
it works on your
And it was
your
fun. It was so
initiative.
much
Isn't it?
fun.
So yeah. And then the other parts of the VIP is at the end of the day, we do a private VIP collaboration. A lot of people call them hot seats. We call them love seats. And so the VIP get in the love seat, and all of us share and pour into you. And then after the event, you get to meet and do a one-on-one strategy session with a mentor of your choice. And then you also get an extra ticket. So the VIPs, that upgrade is really, really, really powerful and so worth it.
There's a goodie bag as well.
Oh yeah, the
goodie bag.
We have like $2,500 worth of giveaways. We just were tallying everything up, and there's some really amazing gifts that every mentor has given everybody.
I know, because I have a special gift. It's only available at Shannon's Media Magic bootcamp. So if you don't go to Media Magic, you won't get access to this discount, and it's a big one. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Beautiful. So, Toni, any final remarks for the viewers on on media and getting out there, or as a media expert that they need to know?
Do you know the fundamental thing that reoccurs to me, and it's from a lot of women and some men as well, that there's fear around putting yourself out there. So I like to take that back as, do you have a message? Do you have a great product? Do you have a wonderful business? If you're not getting out there via the media, you're depriving the world of you and your unique product, business, message, book, whatever it is that makes you, you're depriving the world. And you have to remember that no one else can do that. So no one else can be Shannon. No one else can be Toni. So if you don't do that, if you don't get over your fear, you deprive the world. And there's someone out there, my fundamental belief, there's someone out there that needs to hear from you about what it is that you're saying. Someone out there needs you. Someone out there needs your product. Someone out there needs your business skills. Someone out there needs your expertise. And if you don't get over yourself and put yourself out in the media, and we talk about all the different ways in media magic about how you can do that, you're depriving the world. And who are you to do that? Yeah. So get over that fear. And talk to me about that, because I can tell you what that looks like, what that feels like, and how to get over it and get yourself out there. And you control how much you do or don't do. So it still remains, you don't have to be subject to a slave to the media. You do it on your terms. Particularly if you're in non-traditional media, you do it on your terms. Yeah. And that's the difference. You still maintain that control, if you like, and ownership over what you do. So just get over yourself with love. I'm saying that with love and kindness. Just get over yourself. It's going to be okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. ToniLontis.com, everydaywomenetwork.tv. Thank you for your commitment to our participants by being up in the middle of the night while we're doing our production in the middle of the day.
As you know, Shannon, I would do anything to work and support you. Shannon does amazing work, and on top of all the amazing work she does, she is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. So it's a no-brainer for me. And I would encourage people that are watching this today to jump onto Media Magic and grab your tickets for the 2-day boot camp on the 18th and 19th of January. And
so the 19th and 20th in the US.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. 19th and I just know that you're Fridays. Yeah.
I was just going to say that there's that time difference between Australia and the US. And again, it's there should be no barrier across the globe to joining into things that are of value and importance. And I'm telling you, media magic is one of those things. If you're wanting to learn and grow in 2023, you need to be at this boot camp. Yeah.
Thank you, Toni. Thank you so much. Check out Toni.
Thank you for talking to me again, Shannon. I love talking to you.
And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll see everybody